Hello, this is James. Nothing is more exciting in Duel Links when we get new cards to spice up old decks, and in Lords of the Shining, we are getting cards that will spice up both Noble Knights and the Blue Eyes deck. So in this video, I am going to show some prototype decks that we can build to test the capabilities of the new box. Noble Knights, they're getting 5 cards, but only one can be used immediately in the Noble Knights deck, and that's going to be Gwynethar, Queen of Noble Arms. You can target one Noble Knight monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or graveyard to that target. You can only use this effect of Gwynethar, Queen of Noble Arms once returned. The equipped monster gains 300 attack. Apply the appropriate effect depending on the attribute of the equipped monster. So light, all of the Noble Knights are naturally light. If the equipped monster would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy this card instead. Okay, not crazy. Dark, so a lot of them, Boars and Murdrout, when they're equipped with an equip spell, they become level 5 and they become Dark Attribute. If the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster at the start of the damage step, you can destroy that monster, then destroy this card. And then each turn, during each of your main phases, you can equip Gwynethar out of the graveyard and back onto your Noble Knight, and you can get that removal again. So we have Gwynethar handling removal of the front row, and then we're still using the old standby Double Cyclone. You know, Double Cyclone, Noble Arms, get rid of the back row, and then the Noble Arm comes back onto the Noble Knight. Now, how are we making use of Gwynethar? Because we can't search her off Glory of the Noble Knights. Because Glory of the Noble Knights moves an equipped spell. Gwynethar is a monster. We're going to be using Noble Knight Boars. So he's treated as a normal monster, he's face up, he's light attribute, but then when you equip him with the equip spell card, his noble spirit is darkened and corrupted. He becomes dark, levels increased by 1, and during your main phase, you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck, have your opponent randomly add one of them to your hand, and send the rest to your graveyard. So we only need one Gwynethar, because whether it's added to the hand or sent to the graveyard, we can pop her out of the graveyard, pop her out of the hand, and equip on our Dark Attribute Boars, and get rid of any monster that we have, you know, assuming that Canadia does not become an issue. Gwynethar can be offensive, she can be defensive. We can let Boars sit and wait for our opponent to take their turn. Boars is protected, and the next turn we can Gwynethar, pop her out again, and then attack. The most exciting thing about Gwynethar Boars is that I believe it can make Noble Knights free to play. So with this version of Noble Knights, instead of 3 Murdrout and 1 Boars, we're using just the inverse ratio, right? So we have 3 Boars, 1 Murdrout, if you don't want to dig for that main box ultra rare. And this works because, well, before, the only Noble Knight that did anything, that removed anything, was Dristan. So it was balanced Noble Knights. You have 3 Dristans, 3 Murdrouts, 6 spells, and 6 traps. You always get either a Dristan or a Murdrout, guaranteed removal, right? But now, with Gwynethar, Boars does things. Boars does things. Hey! So with Gwynethar, Boars can equip the Gwynethar, and then Boars can attack a monster, and at the start of the damage step, it can do Super Rush Headlong. Now, the rest of the Noble Knight cards are less exciting. So we have Lady of the Lake. She's kind of a difficult to summon tuner. Basically, you know, you can use her with Neos Fusion, you can use her with Grass, get her in the graveyard, and then you have a level 5 Noble Knight. So that's Noble Knight Boars or Murdrout. When they're equipped with an equipped spell, they're level 5, and then she's in the graveyard. You can pop her out and reduce their level by 1. You can Synchro Shokan into their new Synchro monster, Ignoble Knight of High Loncelin. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner. Noble Knight monsters win this card. When this card is Synchro Shokan, you can equip 1 Noble Arms equip spell card from your deck to this card. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add 1 Noble Knight or Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only control 1 Ignoble Knight of High Loncelin. So, I don't actually think that this is a bad card. I just think that he's really, really hard to summon naturally off of Noble Knights. You could use Unknown Synchron, special summon Unknown Synchron, normal summon a Noble Knight, and then go into High Loncelin, again praying that Canadia is not an issue. Or you can use Lady of the Lake's first effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Noble Knight normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. But that requires Artorias and Painful Decision, and that's quite painful. The fourth Noble Knight card is actually exciting, but only in the future. Noble Knight Brothers can only attack if you control exactly 3 Noble Knights with no other monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon up to 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand. This is for later. This is for Xyz Shokan. And then finally, Noble Knights of the Round Table, which is so bad it's a meme. I mean, you just have to have 3 or more different Noble Knights, like on the field or in the graveyard. So if you have 3, you can dump a Noble Knight. If you have 6, you can special summon a Noble Knight from your hand and equip from your hand. 9, target a Noble Knight in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. And if you have 12, if you have every single possible, like, that's every single, you have Noble Knights on the field, you have every one of these Noble Knights on the field or in the graveyard, plus Glory of the Noble Knights, you get to draw 1 card. If you absolutely must use this card and, you know, also get some Lady of the Lake into high Loncelin action, here's a grass deck. They use 1 of every single Noble Knight and also Noble Arms, and if you get every Noble Knight in the graveyard, then you will be able to activate that final effect. But back to the original deck. Instead of going for Ignoble Knight of High Loncelin for level 5 Synchro, I feel like just good old Armades. And how are we going to make good old Armades? Well, we can make that with Junk Synchron and the renewable resource that is Gwennefer, Queen of Noble Arms. So, if Gwennefer is in your graveyard, you can normal summon Junk Synchron, get Gwennefer, Synchro Shogun into your Armades, and then Gwennefer can still be equipped onto your Noble Knight, assuming that he is still on the field. So, picture this. Noble Knight Boris has done his duty. He has disposed of the opponent's monster. It is now your turn. Junk Synchron, normal summon, special summon Gwennefer from the graveyard. You can Synchro Shogun into your Armades for free, because then Gwennefer can then be equipped back onto the boards, and now you have an Armades and a Super Rush monster. Now, for Blue Eyes. For Blue Eyes, we're not getting 5 new cards, we're just getting 1 new card, but it is a doozy. The White Stone of Ancients. Once returned during the end phase, if this card is in your GY because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your GY and target 1 Blue Eyes monster in your GY. Add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of White Stone of the Ancients once per turn. So the combo here is with Cosmo Brain. Cosmo Brain, special summon, tribute the White Stone of the Ancients. Cosmo Brain gets the monster, and then during the end phase, you can search another Blue Eyes out of your deck. And that could be Dragon Spirit of White. That could be Blue Eyes White Dragon. But we could also finally find a home for Blue Eyes Solid Dragon. So we special summon. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects. So you can get him out and negate like an Inishi during your end phase. The second combo is with Cards of Consonance. Cards of Consonance, discard this Dragon Tuner, and then draw 2 cards, and then during the end phase, you get a Blue Eyes of your choice. So I have 2 versions of this deck. One with Brick of the Sleeve and one without. This version probably uses like Beatdown. And then so we're using 3 Cosmo Brain, and then if we don't open with a Cosmo Brain, we have 2 Dwarf Star Dragon Planter so that we get Cosmo Brain during our end phase. And 2 Dwarf Star Dragon Planter so that if we don't open Cosmo Brain, we at least get it during the end phase, and then Dwarf Star can body block. I like this version a lot, but if you must use Brick Up the Sleeve, I have a version for you. Here it is. So Brick Up the Sleeve, the way it was changed is you still get the Cosmo Brain. It doesn't require Dark Magician in the deck or anything. You still get the Cosmo Brain, but you can't special summon effect monsters during the first turn that you take. So we're using the anti-meta set monsters. Your first turn, you just set a Cypher Soldier, set a Sazank, and then on your follow-up turn, you can do Cosmo Brain, White Stone of the Ancients, get your Blue Eyes, spam out all of the good things. Okay, so I know that this deck, especially with the Cards of Constance and the Silver's Cry, main deck ultra rare cards from a really old box, from old boxes. Some free-to-play replacements include Melody of Awakening Dragon for Cards of Consonance, and Swing of Memories, which I feel is really an adequate replacement for Silver's Cry. And the extra deck for a Blue Eyes deck, you know, would be Stardust. You have 1 plus 7. Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, 1 plus 8. And Armades, Keeper of the Boundaries, you know, you're 1 + 4. Alright? Dwarf Star Dragon, pulling his weight. Finally, Cautionary Tale. Neos Fusion cannot be used with Whitestone of the Ancients. During the end phase, if it was sent there this turn, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. However, Neos Fusion says for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon. So as much as I want to throw Neos Fusion in everything, it doesn't work in Blue Eyes. And lastly, not only is Duel Links receiving new cards, but Dueling Book got some new cards, courtesy of viewer Zader. He added Pottage and Wadaifu cards. So we have Pottage. During each of your standby phases, gain 500 LP. Each time you gain LP, you can shuffle 1 card from your hand back in the deck, then draw 1 card. Cheating Wadaifu, looking very fierce. You can summon this card to your opponent's side of the field. Either player can use this card as synchro material. During your standby phase, you can discard 1 card, and if you do, this card can attack directly this turn. I like this a lot. You know, free to play Mithra, the Thunder Vassal, and Loyal Wadaifu, bringing home the groceries. Control, this face-up card cannot change. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Pottage spell card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Thank you very much, Zader. I am touched, and thank you for watching.